All right, cutting across live to India Habitat Centre in New Delhi, where India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is speaking at a book launch function.
Professor C. Rajkumar, Mr. Kapish Behra, friends, I appreciate the invitation to join the release of Professor Sriram Cholia's latest book, Friends, India's Closest Strategic Partners. So, do allow me to take the opportunity to share some views on this subject. India is today positioning itself as a Vishwamitra. We seek to be friends with as many as possible. This obviously generates goodwill and positivity towards us. It is reflected in the growing contribution we make to global good, and indeed in the closer engagement with the international community. In some ways, this is diplomacy 101. You could even say common sense. If you look deeper, there are cultural and historical factors at work as well, including the fact that we are not a dogmatic civilization. There is a capability aspect as well, which accounts for the self-confidence with which we approach the world. Now, because we are friendly, does this automatically mean that we have many friends? Certainly, as this book demonstrates, the metrics of evaluating relationships make a very powerful case that these have progressed very significantly in India, for India. Yet it is important not to overstate, not to oversimplify, and not to overassume. Life is more complicated than that. Now, the term friends itself has a certain quaintness, a certain, I would even say, an innocence to it. The truth is that relationships develop when interests intersect or at least converge. Undoubtedly, sentiment and values do play a part, but not when divorced from interests. This is the story of each one of the ties that Professor Sriram Cholia has examined. Now, personal association with these transformations do enable me to offer my own insights. Three of them, US, Japan, and Australia, have benefited from the Quad. They are actually examples of overcoming the hesitations of history. Two, UAE and Israel, are from a region that is being engaged comprehensively at last. And the final two, Russia and France, are actually statements of multipolarity, ours as much as theirs. If all these ties have changed so much in the last decade, I'm sure you would agree with me that much of the credit should go to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his personal interest and leadership. Because remember, at least three of them had not even seen a high-level visit for 3 decades. In other cases, there were either pressures on us to limit our interaction, or in a few cases, long-standing ideological doubts to overcome. Now, who is a friend in world affairs is not as easy a question as it appears. Quite apart from convergent interests, there are instincts, trust, solidarity, and respect at play. They explain a lot of the bonding that we often see on the international stage. But there are definitely some special ties for us whose very nature merit deeper analysis. In fact, I would even say hard questions. So let me foray in that direction. Cultivating friendships for a large power like India is never easy. Certainly, there is the emotional factor that comes from shared experiences, and you can see that most visibly in respect of the global south. I mean, we all have a certain historical commonality. However, smaller partners need both constant reassurance and non-reciprocal handling. We see that as well in our neighborhood first policy. Whether it is our actual capability or potential one, our presence in the world order today also attracts competition. As we move towards becoming a leading power, this will only grow. Even friendships will not be without some hedging. Relating to other major powers is also a challenge in itself. The more global they are, the broader are their range of activities and interests. Some may converge more, some less so, and at times, in fact, some may even diverge. Sometimes, friends have other friends who may not necessarily be ours. They may, for example, reflect the dilemmas of the old order and the new. It is therefore essential that we never confuse convergence for congruence. Friendships are also not exclusive, particularly so in a multipolar world. It is only to be expected that others, even friends, will seek to maintain their option while restricting ours. You will, from time to time, hear that our contemporary realism is projected as some kind of inherited dogmatism. Believe me, this is really a mind game at work. Some friends may also be more complicated than others. They may not always share the same culture of mutual respect or ethos of diplomatic etiquette. We have from time to time seen comments on our domestic issues accompanied by a professed desire to have honest conversations. However, the same courtesies are rarely accorded to the other side. What is freedom for one can apparently become interference from the other. The fact is that sensitivities like sovereignty and territorial integrity will always be a factor in evaluating partners. So let me, as a practitioner, conclude by highlighting what friends are and equally what they are not. They are about comfort and convergence with an easy ability to work with each other. They are about mutual respect, understanding the compulsions of the other party, and maximizing common ground. Friends are not always black and white, nor will friendships be linear in their development. They may have their challenges, but are no less for it. Friends, in the final analysis, are always work in progress. So, in an imperfect, competitive, and evolving global order, let us take this approximate judgment of friends and use it as a convenient yardstick for analysis. This book brings out how much progress we have made in the last decade. I'm confident that its next edition would be even longer. Thank you very much for your attention.